Hello, Moni, and to all my other Didgeridoo aspiring friends. This is a quick little tutorial on the rainbow didge here, freshly made for Moni out in Big Sur for her birthday. And yeah, this is just, I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of what this didge can do and just kind of well-rounded playing. And then I'll go into some of the beginners techniques and some of the intermediate techniques, and just showcasing also what this particular instrument really shines at and how to access those techniques. So with no further ado. Yeah, so this is a pretty robust sounding didge. Here we are in 440 D, more of a D minor. We get a nice F overtone in there. Couple more F overtones, C sharps in there, I believe, and A sharp as well. Yeah, so this shape of a didge, this is definitely on the loud side. It's pretty efficient, it's pretty lightweight, even with a double coat of epoxy, and yeah, it's got a pretty open neck, though you do get some more back pressure from the bends here, and then also pretty open chamber in the lower half here, so that's going to get some pretty good bass response, good mid response, EQ spectrum. And then we got that big old bell down there, which isn't a full open bell. It kind of closes back in, more of a bulb bell. So it kind of does have a tubular effect, but it also does have a bass boosting effect without diminishing too much into just loudness. So you can really hear that in the kick, kind of that kick drum sound. so that's something that this didge is really, really good at, is those big pulsing kicks, you know, like a heavy bass sound. And that technique can be mixed with, you know, a little bit of an overtone hit, which the first one on this didge is butter. It's so easy, it's so available, lots of great back pressure, and then they kind of trail off from there. Yeah, so that's going to be this. It's got a pretty decent open sound. You got to really puck your lips to access it, and always get the bell off the ground. Kind of subdued there. A little bit better. Yeah, so that's what this didge really shines at, as far as its, you know, the most present things in its character. Other than that, you know, it's got really good vocals, because we're not too constricted up here, you know, so kooky. Yeah, so it's got really good vocals because it's not too constricted. It's actually got a really crisp sound too. Might be because this is really, really good agave. Yeah, and it was just really well tailored. We got a nice, beautiful hardwood mouthpiece up here. So yeah, you know, you get nice crisp textures with the tonguing. So this is your tongue moving in your mouth, forward and backward, sometimes rolling the tongue to get the overtone textures. Textures, you know, you can get your cheeks going in this one too. Yeah. And so that's just really what this didge shines well at. So from here, I think we'll just go into, yeah, the basic breakdown of what I call like accessibility, you know, for a beginner. So basically didgeridoo, playing didgeridoo is playing this big hollow open tube, and yeah, there's 4 interactions that can be happening together at any given time. Number 1 is the drone, you know, that bass note that everything else within traditional playing is built upon, and that drone is controlled by obviously the breath and the pressure in the diaphragm going through the embouchure or the opening in your lips. And so that's going to look like this. This on the front, this on the side. There it is. And that embouchure is going to be different for any different didge. Like my big one up here, that's much lower. It's much looser lip tension. This one's more like... So you can do a practice to warm up anytime. Here I am, you know, in my 2nd decade of playing, and yeah, I still do this practice before I go on stage or perform. So you're going to start with loose lips and go up to tight lips, and then back, and then even try scales, you know, as if you're playing a piano or something. So it looks like this. Or just all the way up. And if you do that inside the didgeridoo, no matter what didgeridoo it is, you will find the drone. So I raised up to it there. Or you can drop down into it. Now the back pressure, the pressure of the instrument pushing back against you when it's vibrating and all that stuff's happening, that's going to push back and hold you in place. And that's called the sweet spot. That's where you want to get to. Leave your lips in place when you're taking breaths. Make sure to breathe through your nose and out through your mouth. You know, once you get that drone, you know, whether you've been struggling with it or not, leave your lips there in place. Small adjustments are good just to try to make it feel crisper, more natural. But one of the mistakes a lot of beginner didgeridoo players make is breathing through their mouth. And then you're always resetting. And then when you try to learn the circular breathing later, you have to overcome this thing that you weren't supposed to be doing. So yeah, that's the first interaction, is the drone. Second interaction is the mouth, everything that happens inside your mouth. So that's your tongue moving back and forth in your mouth, rolling, it's your cheeks, it's your jaw moving slightly. It can get pretty complex, and that's built on top of the drum. So, you know, it's kind of like whistling. It's kind of like a hard tongue. Like your tongue should feel kind of hard. And it's actually vibrating in overtone frequencies. So drone, first interaction, and mouth, second interaction. Get it? So go ahead and play around with that. It might sound kind of soft at first, but over time, and the more you practice and really focus on getting that crisp, clear sound, the easier it's going to be, and the more it's going to develop. So it might kind of sound, you know, soft at first. I tend to be a left side player. You might be a right side. You might be a straight. I find it's easier to get crisp on the left or the right of the mouth. The front is a lot to manage. It feels like, though the front has the most potential for advanced playing. You know, if I play front, it won't sound as crisp, for example. Do the same thing, side. Yeah, so that's the second interaction. The third interaction is the vocals. So that's anytime you're singing through it, making animal sounds, chanting, whatever it might be, you might be doing. So, for example, sounds pretty cool, huh? So, yeah, that sound I was just making sounds like this. You know, and you can do any kinds of sounds. Here's a whole bunch of them. Now, some of those were combinations between my vocals and my tongue. For instance, that's a tongue roll with a high vocal. So this plus this. Pretty cool, huh? Immediate gratification once you get that. Of course, you have to get that drone down solidly, you know, to really be able to explore into those vocal and mouth movement ranges. So those are the first three interactions. The fourth one, and the most counterintuitive of them all, is the circular breathing. So, you know, lots of great YouTube tutorials and lessons out there. I'll just do a quick one for you now. So circular breathing is where you're pushing out the extra air stored in your cheeks while taking inhales through your nose, and thus just recharging and keeping this cyclical, circular sound happening. So yeah, what's happening is that you have all this, your cheeks are going to be nice and big. And it might take time to get there. It might take you a couple days. It might take you a year. Everybody's different. But, you know, if you focus on it, it will come. So, yeah, what you're doing is you're having this extra air inflated in your cheeks. You're having a nice, comfortable drone. See how my cheeks are big? Should be like this. There's no air in my cheeks there. But there's air in the cheeks when they're big. And if you just say stop your lung flow and leave your cheeks big, go ahead and use your hands. Push out your cheeks. See what happens. Air goes through and you weren't breathing out. So if air is going through, you have time to take an inhale. So that was 1, 2. Yeah, so this plus this at the same time. Ah. So what you're doing is you have the lung flow moving through your lips. And when you get to the end of that lung flow, towards the end of it, you're going to use that extra air in your cheeks to push out through by blocking the back of your throat, just like kind of like holding your breath in water with your mouth, but then also breathing in, inhale. So let's try to break this into a few steps. We're going to just puff up our cheeks and hold it, and then just breathe in through our nose. And now I want you to hold that pressure while using the back of your tongue, your throat. So you can breathe freely through your nose. And then release. And take an inhale. 1, 2. We're going to put 1 and 2 together. So release, inhale. Release, inhale. Lung flow. 2, release, inhale. And now, put the 2 together. Do the didgeridoo. Intentionally inflating my cheeks. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, but basically what you want to happen is this. And here, I'll get really close so you can see. See how it works. And so those are the 4 interactions right there. And they can be mixed in different ways. Obviously, once you get the circular breathing, that creates the rhythm. For instance, and yeah, you just mix them around. You know, that's all pretty traditional playing. Obviously, there's a lot more avant-garde stuff that we can do with didgeridoos. You know, we can use a lot more of the trumpets and make them sound different. You know, here's that. You can do percussive stuff. beatboxing, but it's not really beatboxing. You actually have to use the overtones, the notes in the didgeridoo. That's a cool sound. Just getting the drone lightly activated and releasing. So that's a very soft drone. Soft droning is good. Now, your lip tension might be, you might get it for the drone pretty easily. Try a trumpet. It's way higher. So if my lip tension is about there for a drone, it's going to be about here for the first trumpet. Oh, that was the second one. Here. And move your lips closer to the top of the mouthpiece here. If you really want to solo on trumpet stuff, or well into the intermediate stuff here. So if my drone is about, if the center of my mouth is about here, the center of my mouth is going to be more up here for the trumpets. Pretty cool, huh? That's amazing to do over like epic mountain valleys, and yeah, you just hear echoes for a long time. It's very fun. They're very loud. Yeah, don't always practice around other people because you can make a lot of loud sound. But once you develop more, you really do some cool stuff with it. Yeah, so those are the basics of beginner and intermediate didgeridoo playing. Obviously, there's a lot more. There's so many different styles of playing, and just look into it. Really, the most important thing is sitting down and just going for it, and making sure to really listen to what's happening down there. Some didgeridoo aspirees will make the mistake of trying to force the didge to do a song that they want it to do, and yeah, if you got the skills, you can kind of make that happen, but really just listening to what's happening and getting the most quality out of the sound, out of the motions in your body, that will teach you more than I can teach you with a video, or anybody can really teach you with any kind of sit down lesson. Just truly listening and going from there, give it some time, give it some patience, and give it your heart. I always recommend sitting down. That is traditional too in a lot of ways. It helps you just relax more. Another thing, if it's kind of loud where you're at, is you can actually plug one ear. Try it right now, and like humming, ha ha ha. Plug one ear, not super hard, but lightly, and you can, or even plug both ears, and you can hear yourself really loud inside your head. Do that while you play the didge. You can hear what's going on inside your body more. That can be a good thing for awareness too. Playing with a tuner on for your vocals, your overtones, your trumpets, that can help too. And other than that, go outside in nature, play for the trees, play for the rocks, imitate the sounds of the birds or whatever it is you hear. Listen to other didgeridoo players. Let other didgeridoo players play your instrument if that feels good to you. So one, you can be on this side of it, really hearing the quality and the details. Try playing in the shower, playing in the bathroom, like really acoustically reverberant spaces. Caves are the best. And just really, really listen and just trust in yourself that if you put your heart into it, it will be very rewarding. You get a very yogic breathing exercise out of it. It can bring you into a trance-like state. It can help you relax. It can also excite you. And so I'm excited for you on this beautiful didgeridoo right here, which I haven't named yet, but it's number 190 of all my signature didgeridoos now. And it's definitely a rainbow. Kochi Stronghold agave stock, harvested this last spring. Amethyst, and yeah, let's see, I'll bring you a little closer here now. Yeah, amethyst and abalone here, manzanita mouthpiece, polished natural to a natural finish. Yeah, I got this cool little hawk, moon hawk here. That's the moon phase the didge was made in. And yeah, it's all cool and painted inside as well. And yeah, this whole rainbow effect. It's actually a little bee honey in this epoxy as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah, 440D. There it is. Thank you so much. Good luck and best wishes with your learning and playing and joy of this sound. And yeah, I look forward to hearing you in the future. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.